Remember that Kristi Noem video? The one that was being played in airports? Yeah, that's not going over so well. Multiple airports across the country are refusing to play the video, the one blaming Democrats for the shutdown.
Portland. The Port of Portland says it will not play a message from Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at PDX.
Seattle's airport, according to the Seattle Times, is refusing to air Kristi Noem's new video blaming Democrats for the current government shutdown. Airports are rebuking the Trump administration, and it's pretty stunning to see.
The desperation is very, very obvious. This administration has tried to shove propaganda down the throats of Americans, and Americans over and over, they keep pushing that propaganda and dismissing it and literally calling those people out, right? Now, their desperation has got them to put propaganda videos in airports, you know, telling people how whoever has to be blamed for the shutdown is the Democrats. And, you know, these are good, interesting times to be watching, because in the airports where these videos were supposed to be played by force, a lot of them are saying, no. I don't know, what do they think the people that work in these corporate spaces are? I mean, he loves the poorly uneducated, right? Most of these people actually are educated. The only person that can regurgitate the, you know, far-right propaganda is the MAGA people. And the crazy thing, some of them have never even seen an airport in their lives. So how do you expect them to be receptive of an information put in a place where they probably have not even been? Anywho, we are going to be reacting and looking at the reactions of Americans and appreciating, you know, these following airports that slapped Kristi Noem with a no after she wanted to use her videos to spread propaganda. Americans are like, where to go? I want us to look at this, come back and talk about it. Do me a favor, like the video, don't forget to share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this. I'll be back with more.
I don't think people are buying this bullshit. Here we have Kristi Noem. She is the border Barbie, or whatever you want to call her, ratchet human. Here she is making announcements at airports that the reason for the delays are due to Democrats shutting the government down. Can you believe they are doing this?
It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted.
By the way, you can fly a plane through those hoop earrings. This is wild. And this is wild propaganda. They're saying this violates the Hatch Act. People aren't that dumb. I know what you're saying. No, Dave, they are. No. I think the majority of people see this. Now, a presidency is always won or lost by 1%, 2%, 3%, right? Usually within 1%. And it's those independent voters that maybe they liked Bernie, but then when Hillary won, they decided to go to Trump instead. There's people that can be swayed. You might not get the MAGA batch. They might be steadfast. No, deport them all. That might be what, they might not budge. But I'm telling you, there is a large movement happening in our country where we say there is a better way. Listen, I live in a red state. I'm telling you, I go up on stage doing stand-up. I'm saying the same thing over and over. We want to support small farmers. We want to support single moms. We don't have to be divided one versus the other. We can ask to tax the billionaires. We can ask to pay cheaper health care, fix our potholes, and stop funding wars abroad. We can all unite. About 80-90% of us all want the same thing. We're not getting it. And we need to get educated on why we're not getting it and what we can do in future elections and how we can pressure people to make that happen. But no amount of TSA Barbie over here is going to tell us why the government shut down. You're smart. We know why.
Y'all, I swear, Kristi Noem has been on a one-woman martyr tour like she's auditioning for The Handmaid's Tale, Country Music Edition. First, she rolls out this glossy government-funded video blaming Democrats for the shutdown and decides the perfect place to play it is, wait for it, airports. Airports, y'all, where people are barefoot, half awake, and one TSA pat-down away from questioning the very meaning of their life. She really thought some poor dad, juggling toddlers and a melted Cinnabon, wanted to hear a sermon about Democrat destruction over the boarding zone speakers. But the universe, it said nope. Because Seattle Airport said absolutely not. Portland said bless your heart, but that's political advertising. Even Buffalo's airport looked up from its blizzard and said, girl, this isn't Fox News on layover. They cited the Hatch Act, the state laws, and common sense, the rarest trifecta in politics, and refused to run it. Translation, we don't do campaign ads between gate changes. Now instead of reading the room, Kristi turned it into a persecution saga. There's silence in me. No, honey, they're muting the noise so travelers can actually find their luggage in peace. She acts like airports are supposed to carry her narrative when they're barely carrying flights on time right now. Then came Act 2 of the pity pageant, the Chicago Bathroom Chronicles. She storms into Broadview, Illinois, cameras rolling, claiming she and her ICE entourage were denied a restroom. Lord, give me strength. The local said she showed up unannounced, film crew in tow, like she was producing Cops Gospel Edition. They didn't bar a public servant. They blocked a stunt double for propaganda. But Kristi spun it like she'd been exiled from plumbing itself. She's out here talking about restroom rights like Rosa Parks with the selfie stick. Ma'am, most of us have been holding it through TSA since 2003. You will survive. And it's always the same formula. No restroom, persecution. No airtime, censorship. No applause, oppression. She doesn't crave leadership, she craves lighting. She doesn't need airports, she needs an audience. Every no becomes a sermon about how brave she is for suffering the consequences of her own PR schedule. If Delusion earned frequent flyer miles, she'd have Platinum Elite with Reality Airlines by now. So yeah, Kristi thought the airports would follow her. Turns out, the only thing taken off was her ego. And while the rest of us are just trying to make our connections, she's out there mistaking turbulence for applause. So share this and follow for more, because this is the Southern Punk Project, where we roast with purpose, where the porch light burns brighter than the spit, where we don't holler, we hit back with humor, we call the bluff, light the match, and pour truth like cold sweet tea on a summer lie. Because down here, we believe laughter is resistance, storytelling is survival, and the only thing we serve colder than our tea is accountability.
We've entered day 11 of the government shutdown, and Kristi Noem is showing just how bad the Republican messaging system is, how bad they are doing with the public. She's now on TVs across the United States in airports blaming Democrats for the shutdown, trying to have those people that are potentially going to be most impacted in their travels, their vacation plans, get mad at Democrats. In her message, she's blaming Democrats for the government shutdown, saying that Trump and his administration and Republicans want to open the government, but Democrats won't let them. And even agents are there not getting paid, working without pay. Now, she consistently blames the Democrats throughout this message, which is a violation of the Hatch Act, but aside from that, because the Trump administration will never find her in violation of it since they control the Office of Special Counsel, this is just desperation. It smells and screams of desperation by the Trump administration and Republicans, because they consistently are losing the messaging when it comes to who's responsible for the shutdown. Democrats are winning that because people understand their healthcare costs continue to increase with nothing to gain from it. And Republicans are only wanting to further increase the premiums. This smells of desperation by Kristi Noem and the administration, trying to get some Americans somewhere to blame Democrats, because the only people that do right now are bots on social media.
And meanwhile, the battle in Washington, D.C. to reopen the government is now reaching Portland. The Port of Portland says it will not play a message from Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at PDX. Take a listen.
It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted.
Noem ordered that video to be played in all airports across the country. As you heard, it blames Democrats for the current government shutdown. However, the Port of Portland says that they will not be playing that video at Portland International Airport, citing the Hatch Act and Oregon state laws. Both prohibit the use of public assets for political purposes or for promoting political messaging. The Port of Seattle announced that it will be following Portland in its policy not to play Noem's video.
The government.
Airports in Seattle, Portland, Cleveland, and other places said they're not going to air that video because it obviously violates the Hatch Act, which prohibits the use of federal assets for political purposes.
Do I think that you're going to really get people on the line at the airport to say, like, you know what, I am going to change my party registration. Democrats are a bunch of fools. You know, like, I'm not really that worried about it. There was a meme going around that said, hey, like, I have a theory. Everybody's 12. And it's like, why are people eating only red meat and French fries? Because they're 12. Like, oh, there's crime. We should put the army on it. You're 12. You know, and it's like, oh, like, you're mad at the Democrats and you're head of the Homeland Security. You can make a video and show it to everybody, and you're really mad. So you're gonna express it, and you're 12. You're supposed to be an adult.
We're from the before times, before Trump. It is a shocking violation of the law for people who had to like worry about the Hatch Act and try not to violate it and like actually be concerned about these kind of things. To see that video, it just like makes you realize that it's just absurd. I'm kind of the view that propaganda works in aggregate in the long term, and that like videos like this and that all the other ways that government officials are just blaming Democrats through government channels and official communications, through emails and letters to workforces, like I worry it adds up. Meanwhile, a separate, far more fun Noem video is making the rounds as well. Let's watch that one.
Our government agents are working without pay. Luckily, my boys at ICE don't mind. They're in it for the love of the game. And how did I find them? By running ads like this. Do you need a job now? Yeah. Are you a big tough guy? Yeah. Tough enough for the army or police? No. But do you take supplements that you bought at a gas station? Daily. Do you like to use zip ties because people in your life don't trust you with keys? You know it. Then buckle up and slap on some Oakley's, big boy. Welcome to ICE.
I like that Tina, somehow the accent runs from North Dakota to Alaska. It's sort of like one kind of loose mountain accent.
Sarah Palin with a hat on.
When even airports start refusing to play government propaganda, you know the line's being crossed. You know? The Trump administration tried to air a shutdown blame video featuring Kristi Noem in airports across the U.S., and several airports said absolutely not. Buffalo, Charlotte, Phoenix, Seattle, and others refused, citing policies against partisan content in public spaces. This isn't just about one ad. It's about normalizing propaganda in spaces we trust to be neutral. Once you blur that line, it's hard to unblur it, you know? Authoritarianism doesn't start with tanks in the streets. No. It starts with messaging you can't escape. But what do you think?
Government. Like a few other airports, the Denver airport is not airing the Kristi Noem Homeland Security video where she says this. Hey. There's an asterisk next to Denver's decision. You see any TVs playing videos with audio around here? DIA says it wasn't even asked to play this video at their checkpoints because they don't have monitors that can play video with audio here. In conservative El Paso County, though, the Colorado Springs airport is choosing to not air it as well. They say the video violates their policy about partisan messages, which is in line with the Hatch Act. Now, the Hatch Act is a federal law that limits certain political activities of federal employees. It basically means you separate political activities from civil servants or from federal properties or properties that get federal funds.
Remember that Kristi Noem video? The one that was being played in airports? Yeah, that's not going over so well. Multiple airports across the country are refusing to play the video, the one blaming Democrats for the shutdown. Airports in Buffalo, Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Charlotte, and Cleveland have all confirmed they won't air it. Their reason? Very simple. Public spaces are not billboards for politicians. Some cited federal rules like the Hatch Act, which bans partisan messaging on government property. Others said they refuse to cross the line between public service and propaganda. Even in Arizona, where the administration expected support, both Sky Harbor and Mesa Gateway airports said no. While Washington points fingers over who's to blame for this shutdown, the people actually running our public spaces are the ones holding the line. Quietly, but firmly. DHS says that the video is still being rolled out elsewhere. Maybe, but it doesn't change what this moment shows. Not everyone in America is willing to play along, and that is so powerful. A reminder that sometimes resistance doesn't look like a protest or chaos. It looks like people doing their jobs and refusing to be used.
In stupid news out of America today, Kristi Noem sent a video to every airport in America asking them to play it on all of the TVs, telling people waiting for their flights that the government shutdown was due to the Democrats. Now, if you haven't been paying attention during the last, 6,000 years of Trump's presidency, the Republicans run all three seats of legislation right now, House, Senate, and presidency. So if anybody is responsible for the shutdown of the government, it's the Republicans. I know, it's shocking. Fox News won't tell you this. Also, shout out to my hometown of Spokane, Washington, who said, it is our First Amendment right. Also, shout out to my hometown of Spokane, Washington, who went on record to say, we refuse to play your propaganda.
You know, I have to give Republicans a little bit of credit for something. To their credit, most of them are not buying into the narrative that Democrats are the reason why the government is shut down right now. Even with videos of Kristi Puppy Slayer Noem putting out videos in all the airports saying, the Democrats did this to you. That's why you're in a long line right now. That's why your flight was canceled. It was the Democrats, which is actually a violation of the Hatch Act, but they don't care about that shit anymore. These people do not care about laws unless they are against people that they hate. Weirdo Mike Johnson keeps trying to blame the Democrats too, but people are not buying it from him at all. In fact, a lot of Republicans, especially in the military, are calling him out to his face. And he keeps trying to say, this has nothing to do with me. This is not my lane. Dude, do you not know what your job is? You are the head of the House of Representatives in Congress. You are second in line for the presidency. Do you know any of this? If you think that these political decisions are not in your lane, maybe it's time for you to get off the road. I'm even seeing this online. Usually when the Republicans push some sort of bullshit narrative, I have a lot of trolls coming out and trying to accuse me of the things that they are pushing. But strangely, I have not seen anybody in my comments accusing the Democrats of shutting down the government. And strangely, lately, I haven't seen anybody blaming the left for Charlie Kirk anymore. It's almost as if some of them are waking up from the Kool-Aid vape they've been breathing in. Now, I'm not naive enough to believe in a purple revolution, but if they can just wake up enough to understand that they are getting screwed over by their own party, that's not nothing. Well, good for you, MAGA, for not buying into this one. There may be some hope for you after all.
If you've flown in a U.S. airport over the past week or so, you've probably seen the propaganda videos of Kristi Noem blasted on every single airport television, saying that the Democrats are the reason that the lines are so long at the airports, and the Democrats are the reason that the TSA is understaffed. You can be sure that if that woman's mouth is making noise, not one word of it is the truth. The fact is that the Republicans are the one who have shut down the government. And we know this because Republicans are in control of the government. They hold the office of the presidency, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. So there is no feasible reasoning that could get you to Democrats being responsible. The reason TSA is understaffed is because during a shutdown, government workers like TSA agents don't get paid. So a lot of them start calling in sick because they have to go do other jobs, like drive an Uber. On top of that, the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Donald Trump have both said, we don't think that we're going to pay the workers who are furloughed during this government shutdown. Yeah, if you're a TSA agent or another government worker at an airport, why would you go to work right now? They've already made it clear that they don't give a fuck about paying government employees. Good news, though, is that a few of the airports are pushing back. The Portland and the Seattle airport have both openly refused to air Kristi Noem's propaganda video. So I'm hoping some more airports are going to follow. I'd like to see Hartsfield and Atlanta do the exact same thing.
Hi, I'm Secretary of Homeland Security, Border Control Influencer of Ice Baby Incorporated, Cosplay Karen, and your pilot for the TSA, Kristi Noem. What the hell's this? And I'm here to tell you that it's TSA's top priority to give you the most pleasant and efficient airport experience while also keeping you safe. Okay, Unfortunately, the Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. That's why we're in a government shutdown. And even though the Republicans have the majority in Congress and refuse to negotiate with Democrats, that's only because if they came back to work, they'd have to deal with the whole Epstein file release thing. And we can't have that now, can we? Huh? So, because of the radical left lunatic Democrats shutting down the government, many of our TSA operations have been impacted. In fact, you probably won't even survive your flight. What? But here at the TSA, we are doing everything we can to minimize flight delays. Will you shut up? I'm trying to make an airport propaganda video. Oh my God! Don't mind that. That was just my emotional support dog, but I don't have emotions. Anyways, we are hopeful that soon the Democrats will realize the importance of reopening the government. So from all of us here at Homeland Security, please enjoy your flight, unless you're a Democrat. Kristi, Noem out.
If you're stuck in a TSA security line in the coming days, you're going to see Kristi Noem saying this.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government.
Which is some pretty wild gaslighting, considering that from day one of the Trump administration, they were laying off TSA and FAA employees, and they've used this shutdown as an excuse to fire or threaten to fire permanently even more of those employees. The reason the government is shut down and your flight is delayed or canceled and you're stuck in these lines having to listen to this is because Trump cares more about protecting tax breaks for billionaires than he does about keeping your healthcare costs from going up. And he won't even sit down and negotiate about it. So when you hear this partisan political message coming across this public TV and a public airport, think to yourself, this is why Democrats have to stay strong.
Hopefully you, my people, are doing all right, and I do hope that God has protected you and preserved you very well from this entire sagas. Yes, I do appreciate all of you that keep supporting me on here. Shout out to my members. You guys do me amazing. We are back with, our final sentiments on this. I think one thing that is very, very obvious is these people are everything they are against. These people, and I'm talking about the MAGA people, they are everything they are against. First of all, they are against DEI. Signs of mediocrity are surrounding this entire administration everywhere you go. If this is what you have to do, that lets us know that you don't know your job. And that you are so mediocre and you are so hell-bent to literally suck to the same propagandas of the man that is seated in office that literally has no idea of what he's doing. Because, my goodness, do you have to be that petty? If you can't be respected as, a federal official, like as a federal worker, how do you expect the rest of the world to even put some respect on your country anymore? I think this goes to show us that each day that passes by, the US is becoming more of a laughingstock than anything else. Now, of course, the propagandists are like, US is more respected. They're like, United States is respected now more than ever. Is that true? Is that true? All people are just really mocking you. They are mocking you and looking at you. They're like, wow, how you have fallen. You who used to make everybody bow. You who used to subdue everyone. Now this is who you are. The kind of propaganda they are putting on public spaces and public platforms, right? And then these airports, let's not forget, the people that use them are not only Americans, but even other people. That's the reason as to why people are not coming to the US anymore. I don't know if you guys have already realized that tourism has plummeted. Yeah, I don't know how much money you guys have lost in tourism alone, but reality is you guys have already lost a lot of money. And to be honest, growing up, I used to think United States is just, everything. Everyone grew up admiring to go to the United States of America. Until when now we see it for what it is. We are like, wow, okay. Yeah. And so even the people that were willing to come and maybe do business. First of all, those that were doing business with you, you guys have already jeopardized that entire situation. I'm not talking about you, those of you that are watching me on here. I'm talking about the mediocre white people that are in offices of influence. They have jeopardized everything: tourism, trade, when it comes to human rights, now they are on the human rights watch list. So you're telling people to sit down and watch that propaganda of airports that are international, used by different people, to come and look at that. This world mediocrity that is getting displayed on international medias, right, is really showing us who the supremacists really are. They are not supreme. They ain't never been. They are one of the most scared people on this planet. They are cowards. And if you know cowards, the best tactic to protect themselves with is making sure they scare you and intimidate you. If you see people that talk a lot, most of the time, those people are really weak. They can't really fight. And that's what it is for these people. A lot of them are DEI hires. There's no professionalism. No professionalism at all. No diplomacy at all. And that's why, the defiance is growing strong. A lot of people and a lot of airports are realizing, what, I think we don't need to be bending our knees to a fascist regime. One thing that they are doing for sure is exposing themselves that they are the real fascists. Because indeed, while indeed people are not working, most of those people know why the government shut down. They know you have power over everything. They know you are in government. So how can you fail to, to pass a bill that is going to, support your wall spending? Yeah, you are in control. Democrats are not. So why are you blaming them? And himself, the president, said if, the country shuts down, the person that should be blamed is the president, because he should have the capacity to keep the country going. And his own words are coming back to bite him in the butt. Well, it's so soothing. And I think you've seen the reactions of Americans, those that are mocking the Barbie lady. And I think for me, all I see is just mediocrity. You have a mediocrity of a government that is really in power, but they think they're doing so good. When they are gone, it's going to take you quite a lot to build those bridges, because they are burning them. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I think from me for today, that's it. I do love all of you guys, and I want you to stay safe. I want you guys to stay safe. May God watch over you and protect you.